Hello everyone, welcome to Teaching Pathshala. Today we are going to discuss about some basic concepts regarding developmental biology, and the topic with which we are dealing today is the induction and competence. These two topics are the basics of developmental biology. Although these two topics are not at all tough, it is very easy to understand, but somehow it contains all the basics of developmental biology process. Without these two processes, the overall functioning or the overall signaling of developmental biology will not going to take place. With this, we are going to solve some CSI net question that has been asked on the induction and the competence. So these all was the tips regarding the preparation of our dev bio. Now let's come to the main topic of discussion, that is cell-cell communication in development, and the first topic which we are taking is the induction. So first of all, the cell-cell communication is very familiar to us because we are already familiar with the cell signaling pathway, and the cell signaling pathway will always contain the cell-to-cell communication, and that is what the definition of cell signaling is. Okay, so there is nothing to explain in that, but here we are going to study about the cell-cell communication in our development process. So what is induction? Signal induction refers to the cascade of signaling event during which a cell or a tissue signals to another cell or tissue to influence its developmental fate. That means induction is a process in which there is a cascade of signaling event, and that is ultimately going to help in our developmental fate. In the process of induction, the signal that is generated is called the inductive signal. So whatever the signaling which is going to take place, that is going to occur through a inductive signal, and the overall process is called the induction. So it is normally a communication between the two cells or the two tissue which is going to behave in a different manner after receiving the induction signal. This inductive signal can be a growth factor or the differentiation factor. So there is total two components to every inductive interaction or the induction process. The first is the inducer, which may be a tissue or cell that is going to produce a signal, and second is the responder of that induction. Now let's talk about the second factor that is involved in cell-cell communication in development, which is the competence. So in the previous slide, we have seen that there is total two components of our inductive interaction. First was the inducer and second was the responder. So what is competence? So the ability to respond to a specific inductive signal is called the competence. So somehow this competence is acting as a responder of the inductive signal. So the second component about which we have talked in the previous slide, that is what the competence. So it is the ability to respond to a specific inductive signal, and finally, because inductive signal is in a form of a ligand, or you can say that it is an initiator of a signal. So if a signal is coming from one cell, someone should be there to receive that or to respond to that, and that is what the competence. So in common way, you can also call it as the inductive. For the inductive signal, it is behaving like a ligand, and the competence is behaving like a receptor. So this is the most easiest way to understand the inductive signal and the competence. The second line is competence can occur through an expression of an appropriate receptor or the component of a signaling pathway. This thing I have just mentioned, that it is just acting as a receptor for a ligand. That is why it is responding to that inductive signal. The best and the most important example of competence and induction is the process of a eye lens development. And about this, I'm going to upload a video very soon, that how the eye lens is used to develop, because this is a very important topic for the CSIR net. Now let's see one question from CSIR net 2016 December. Cell-to-cell communication is important in development of an organism. The ability of a cell to respond to a specific inductive signal is called. So this definition is totally familiar with us right now because we have just read about it. So the ability of a cell to respond to a specific inductive signal is called the competence. So rest of the option will be wrong. That is the regional specificity of an induction. This is wrong. Juxtacrine signaling. This is also wrong. Fourth is the instructive interaction. This is also wrong. So the correct option is the option 2, which is a competence. See, this question was very easy, and it has taken hardly 5 to 6 minutes for us to understand the concept of an induction and the competence. And after that, you have successfully able to solve the 2 marks question from the CSIR net 2016 December. Till now, we have seen that what is induction and what is competence. So in general, we can say that the inductive signal is a type of a ligand, which is acting as a type of a ligand, and competence is just responding to that ligand. So now we are going to talk about the type of inductive interaction. So it may be an instructive interaction as well as it may be a permissive interaction. Now let's talk about both of them. So first we are going to start with the instructive interaction. In instructive interaction, a signal from the inducing cell is necessary for initiating a new gene expression in the responding cell. So in instructive interaction, there is an involvement of a two different type of a cell. First is the inducing cell and second is the responding cell. So the signal from the inducing cell is very necessary for the responding cell, then only it is going to express its gene. So that means it is going to get an instruction from some other cell, then only the responding cell is going to show its expression or the gene expression. The example of instructive interaction is the stem cell. So I think many of you are already knowing that what is stem cell and what is the capability of a stem cell. Then also I would like to mention a few points regarding the stem cell and why we have kept this stem cell in an instructive interaction. So these stem cells are the classes of undifferentiated cells that are capable to differentiate into a specialized cell type. And this specialization will only take place after getting a signal from an inductive cell. So that is why we are keeping the stem cell into a category of instructive interaction, because it needs a inductive signal from some other cell to differentiate into a different cell type like skin, muscles, bones and many more. One general example is also there for the better understanding. So it is represented in the red lines form. So in the presence of a tissue A, responding tissue B develops in a certain way. Okay, so this is just showing that A is acting as a inducer of a signal, or it is giving an inductive signal, and B is the responding cell. Second option, in the absence of tissue A, responding tissue B does not develop in that way. As because the inductive signal is not there, that is in the form of a tissue A, that is why the responding cell, that is B, is not going to respond in a previous way. The third option, in the absence of tissue A but in the presence of a tissue C, tissue B does not develop in that way, because the inductive signal is very specific. Okay, as because the inductive signal was sent by the tissue A and it was received by the tissue B, so if there is a presence of a tissue C also, then also it is not going to affect the overall pathway, and that is why in the absence of a tissue A which was sending an inductive signal, the tissue B failed to express itself. So this is the best example through which you can understand the basics of instructive interaction. So from its name you can memorize it very easily. That is, one cell is going to need an instruction of some other cell, and that is why there is a occurrence of a instructive interaction. Now let's talk about the permissive interaction. So the responding tissue contain all the potential that are to be expressed and need only an environment that allow the expression of these traits. So the cells which is going to interact through a permissive manner, they are already committed to their work and they will start differentiating after getting a desirable environmental condition. So for example, there are many tissue need a solid substrate containing a fibronectin or the laminin in order to develop. The fibronectin or the laminin does not alter the type of a cell that is to be produced, but only enables what has been determined to be expressed. So somehow this fibronectin and laminin is going to provide an environmental and the necessary condition for the development of that committed cell. Okay, overall the expression of that cell is not going to be changed, only the environment is going to support that cell to develop or express that cell in a desirable manner in which it is already committed. In this way, there is a huge difference between instructive interaction and the permissive interaction. If you talk about the instructive interaction, there is a responding cell which needed an instruction from some other cell which is going to send a signal, that is mainly the inducing signal, to the responding cell. So in this way, we can say that in an instructive interaction, the responding cell is totally dependent upon some other cell which is going to send a inducing signal. And if you talk about the permissive cell, one cell is not dependent upon some other cell because it is already committed to its work and only needed a suitable environment condition to differentiate. I hope the concept of instructive interaction and the permissive interaction is now clear to you all. So in this way, you have to remember the difference between both of them. Then only you will able to understand the actual meaning of these two interaction. Now let's discuss one question from CSI Net 2015 December. Instructive and permissive interaction are the two major modes of inductive interaction during the development. The following compares some properties of cell line and the cord blood stem cell. Cell line which are stored in a liquid nitrogen can be retried for experiments where they behave as per their original self. Cord blood can also be retried from the liquid nitrogen for procuring stem cells. Unlike cell line, the stem cell can be additionally induced to undergo differentiation into a desirable lineage, which are very different from their original self. The behavior of cell line and the stem cell is analogous to which of the interaction. So you have to tell that they are going to belong from which interaction category, either from instructive interaction or from the permissive interaction. So let's first talk about the condition that they have provided in the question. So first of all, they have told that cell line and the cord blood stem cell, or normally stem cell, both are already stored in a liquid nitrogen. So what they are saying, actually, the cell line also has been stored in a liquid nitrogen, but they can retrieve for the experiment where they behave as per their original self. Okay, so whatever the function that was committed to the cell line, they are behaving in that manner only by showing that kind of a expression. But the stem cell can also be retried from the liquid nitrogen for the procuring stem cell. But unlike cell line, the stem cell can be additionally induced to undergo differentiation. That means the stem cell needed to be induced by some other factor, and after that only it is going to differentiate into a different lineage. So there is a two condition. The cell line doesn't need any kind of a additional induction, and the stem cell needed a induction from some other cell, and then it is going to differentiate into a desirable lineage. Okay, so from this only we can able to conclude the perfect answer, that cell line is going to follow a permissive interaction and the stem cell is going to follow a instructive interaction. Because the stem cell need a instruction from some other cell, then only it is going to differentiate itself in some other cell type, whereas the cell line doesn't need this kind of a induction signal. It only need a perfect condition to develop itself. So the correct answer would be the cell line is going to follow the permissive interaction and the stem cell is going to follow the instructive interaction. So if we see the option, the I think it is matched with the third option, that is cell line show a permissive interaction, whereas the stem cells show a instructive interaction. So the correct answer is the answer 3. And the student who don't know that what is cell line, so it is a cell culture that has been developed from a single cell type. Okay, that is why it is called the cell line, because it is developed from a single cell. Only a same kind of a cell will be there in the cell line. So with this we have completed the topic of induction and competence, and I hope this video was helpful for you. So if you're new to my channel, you can subscribe my channel for getting more different videos on different biological topics, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you will be notified with my each and every new video uploads. And if you want to see the vulva formation of a C. elegans video, then I will mention the link in the description box as well as in the end of this video. Thank you.